Well, if what I do or can do fits what you're trained to do, I'm certainly interested. So I don't think I have any gigs coming up. Gigs have dried up for me lately, but anyway, I do have a Facebook music page and a Reverb Nation page. You walk out of that door and cross Texas Street, you'd be in our church parking lot. Well, and just so you know, since you mentioned Sunday is the day of that possible shooting, but I'm not available on Sundays until I'm not available Sunday morning. I'll put it that way.
I went to seminary from like 1980 to 83, 84. Yeah. There's no easy answer. Of course, in our lingo, we refer to it as a calling. As a calling. Yeah, you can't really put a finger on it as far as causation or anything. There are significant events. Of course, being raised in the church has a lot to do with it, because it at one point that's I realized that's what I was doing. I was always in church and doing church stuff, and just had I seemed to have an affinity for that kind of thing. Probably the sense of community and belonging, I guess, particularly as a young person. Of course, that would have been in the 60s and early 70s in Birmingham, Alabama, and a lot of it was actually sort of backdoor kind of thing. Some of the things I was seeing and experiencing in the church, the church, or my church at the time, it was sort of like did we read the same book or not? In terms of the Bible or the teaching of Christ and the climate of racism at the time. But there were some formative events that happened around that. I'll put it that way. In Alabama until 1980. I went from there to Louisville, Kentucky. Of course, there was the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing, and I lived in Inslee on the west side of Birmingham. This 16th Street Baptist Church, that would have been considered the downtown, more or less the downtown area. And I can remember still young, being told to stay indoors for at a time. And at the time, I had no clue, being young. But in hindsight, I knew why, because of the unrest. Well, we lived just not far from what's called Tuxedo Junction. Well, it was a nice spot back before my day. It was referred to as Tuxedo Junction on the west side in Inslee. They're on 20th Street. It was primarily a black area at the time, but
I'm going to Mountain Brook. Well, I'm heading out eventually. I'm going to Mountain Brook. They got real fine women. I'm gonna take a look. Got a sawbuck in my pocket. I got a jug of wine. Got a sawbuck in my pocket. I got a jug of wine. Gonna head down to 80. Gonna have a real good time. Where their daddy's got their money. Mama's nice at 10. Where their daddy's got that money, their mama's nice at 10. But I soon come to find out they don't want no poor man. Chelsea, find me a country girl. Well, now head on down to Chelsea, find me a country girl. Sort of wide in the bottom, and they herring curls. Well, I should have stayed home on 27th Street. Well, I should have stayed home on 27th Street. There was love all around me, all around my feet. I should have stayed home on 27th Street.
you know, I was fairly typical, you know, the typical late 60s, early 70s stuff. But you know, I heard that stuff. I was hearing that stuff, you know, recording or otherwise, because that's probably why, you know, when I you know, finally picked up a guitar, that's what came out. That's what came out. 14, 15 maybe. Because there was this, I don't know where it came from, this beater guitar somehow appeared in the house. I don't know if it was my brothers or what, but then later on managed to buy a guitar. But yeah.
Country, baby, living on that train. Well, I'm moving to the country, baby, living on that train. Gonna leave my trouble, leaving all my pain. Where you spend my money, baby, wreck my Oldsmobile. Where you spend my money, baby, wreck my Oldsmobile. Don't I tell you, baby, just how I feel? I don't want no woman drinking corn liquor all the time. I don't want no woman drinking corn liquor all the time. Let me tell you, baby, that ain't worth a dime. Thing smoking, baby, take me away from here. Well, the first thing smoking, baby, take me away from here. Don't you yakety yak now, don't you shed no tear. Well, I'm moving to the country, baby, leaving on that train. Well, I'm moving to the country, baby, leaving on that train. Gonna leave my trouble, leaving all my pain. Gonna leave my trouble, leaving all my pain.
Louisville Presbyterian Theological Seminary.
And how long did you spend there?
4 years. 4 years.
And where did you go from there?
I was in that area for until 91.
In Louisville?
In Louisville or in southern Indiana, right across the river from Louisville. That's probably, really didn't start really playing out or anything, or even thinking about it until I'd finished my education. You know. I guess that was a good thing. I made better grades that way. So.
When did you start writing your own material?
Oh, probably early 80s. I used to have this old cassette. I don't know if I have it or not. I recorded in a friend's living room that had a cassette recorder, and if I recall, it was dated like 82 to 84. Yeah, because I was still in Louisville, and when I go home to Birmingham, I'd go over there and I'd
record some stuff.
Playing, yeah. nothing big. It was just living room recording.
Experimentation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you started writing your own tunes at that point?
Yeah. Traditional blues, also, of course, traditional gospel, particularly the spirituals and old gospel tunes. So, yeah.
My baby like kudzu, creeping all over town. My baby like kudzu, creeping all over town. She creeps day and night. She never treat her daddy right. She creeps in the daytime. She creeps late at night. She creeps in the daytime. She creeps late at night. Everybody, they tell me the woman just ain't right. She creeps down the alley. She creeps down the street. She creeps down the alley. She creeps down the street. Now that woman ain't no good. Won't every man she meets. I'm gonna swing my swing blade. I cut it off at the root. I'm gonna swing my swing blade. Cut it off at the root. You won't feel a thing. Shed the toe of my boot. I'm gonna drive my bush hog. Cut it down to the ground. I'm gonna drive my bush hog. Cut it down to the ground. You won't creep no more. And your evil ways are found. I'm gonna 2-4-D it. Stop it dead before it start. I'm gonna 2-4-D it. Stop it dead before it start. I ain't taking no more. That woman broke my heart. My baby like kudzu, creeping all over town. My baby like kudzu, creeping all over town. She creeps day and night. She never treat her daddy right.
You know what kudzu? You know what kudzu? Okay.
Yeah. So it's a weed, and it's like kind of like poison ivy. Right?
It's a noxious weed.
Noxious weed.
and an invasive species, actually.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was brought over from South America to help control erosion.
Really?
Yeah, and it got
to Louisiana or just America in general?
Southeast.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Florida, Louisiana, Georgia.
I don't see it as much here in Louisiana, but the further east you go, you start seeing it. The thing about traditional blues and other music too. When our sense of brokenness and broken relationships. That's common in not just blues, but
and everything.
All forms of music. So yeah.
Thoughts on failure?
Failure?
Yeah.
Honestly, essential, inevitable. Yeah.
Late September down in Louisiana, got much, I do the best I can. I do the best I can. Too hard for crawfish, but I like boudin. I'm gonna eat more than I can stand. More than I can stand. You see, my life's been pretty good, but I like my fun, don't always do what I should. I don't do what I should. The kings are coming, so they say. Out in the Gulf and is headed this way. Could be here any day, any day. Could be here any day. Great God Almighty, He bless my soul. I got no money, got nowhere to go. I got nowhere to go. Grab the liquor and start the car. It got gas, but it won't get very far. Very far. I can't go just anywhere I wish. I might make it to Natchitoches. Might make it to Natchitoches. Late September down in Louisiana. I ain't got much, I do the best I can. I do the best I can.
So, I guess I'm surprised, and I guess others might be too, that I'm still at it as a pastor.
Why is that?
Oh. Well, you know, one is, you know, all this. And
Oh, what?
the personal appearance and stuff like that, but I don't think about that anymore because I've been fortunate to be around a welcoming community.
When did you start? When did you start at St. Paul's?
Oh, I've been at St. Paul 7 years now. It was 2007.
How did you end up with that job?
Well, we were in southeast Indiana, outside of Cincinnati, and I'd been at that congregation 6 years. 6 years.
And you were a pastor there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it's one of those things where you get to a point where things seem to be wrapping up, and you get that time to move on kind of sense, and looked around, and this congregation was open here, and one thing led to another, and came on down to Lake Charles. 29 years, we've been married, and of course she's a United Methodist pastor, so we're both sort of lifers, so we know what's possible or inevitable in the future.
Well, I love my baby, yes I do. Without her around, I wouldn't know what to do. She my little hoochie coo. She wiggle like a tadpole, jump like a frog. I never drink muddy water or sleep in a log. She my little hoochie coo. She's slick as a catfish, rough as a cod, but let me tell you, boy, she's always on the job. She my little hoochie coo. She'll peel them taters and shell the peas. My baby, she always aims to please. She my little hoochie coo. When the morning sun come up, there's breakfast on my plate. Now look here, baby, don't you know I just can't wait till the sun goes down behind the hill. You bound to give your daddy such a thrill. You my little hoochie coo. Well, she never wears no short skirt, but all the fellas, they still want to flirt, but they know she's my little hoochie coo. She knows left from right, up from down. I'm so glad that I have found my little hoochie coo. She'll thread that needle and darn the socks, but I really like the way she rocks. That my little hoochie coo. And she wears that apron way up high, but she never fails to catch my eye. She my little hoochie coo. When that morning sun come up, there's breakfast on my plate. Now look here, baby, you know I just can't wait till the sun goes down behind the hill. You bound to give your daddy such a thrill. You my little hoochie coo. When I love my baby, yes I do. Without her around, I wouldn't know what to do. She my little hoochie coo. She wiggle like a tadpole, jump like a frog. I never drink muddy water